Hello and welcome to a very special video. Today we're going to talk about Myrmidon Destructors host. Now, I want to always put it out like this. I am not a marketing channel for Games Workshop. I just give my honest opinions. You may or may not like them, but effectively I hope that you value the fact I'm just being honest with how I feel about things. So, it came to me as a surprise when, well, they kind of stealth dropped this announcement. I was away dealing with some things, dealing with family and such, and I came back, found out this was going, and then I didn't watch the Breakfast with Bando video talking about it or the Outer Circle because I wanted to give my own personal opinions on this. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is these guys come in a box of 6. They have an option between, if I am not mistaken, I'm going to reinforce what I'm saying, a radiation gun and a dark fire cannon. There's 6 of them. They have 2 heads each. They have a couple different interchangeable servo skulls. I'm kind of worried it's going to be the same 3 bodies repeated twice. That's kind of one of those things that always bothers me. I'm hoping they have things like interchangeable chest plates and stuff so you can kind of swap them between there. Otherwise, people are going to have to do a little bit more work on them. My honest opinion of these guys is they definitely look girthy from what I can tell. I'd be interested to see what size they are in scale with other units like Space Marines and, of course, other AdMech units. In general, they keep most of the design elements that the originals had. I'll be honest, though, I do actually like the kind of liveliness, which is weird to say when you're talking about one of these guys, of the original sculpts, and I kind of wish they had captured a little bit more. These guys, they feel a little bit more stiff, and I could understand, like, maybe there's a second kit and they're going to be the melee focus because they love making 2 kits now, and they're the ones that are going to have the more lively poses, and these guys are the ones that are more firing platforms, and that makes sense. But I don't think it's wrong to say that from an aesthetic, I prefer the OG versions of these guys. I don't think these are bad. I don't hate them. In fact, I like AdMech more than I like Space Marines. But they've always been one of those hit and miss factions for me, in that I like some elements of it and I hate others. These guys, I'm afraid they're going to look very samey, and there's not going to be a lot you can do to make them very individual, but that's just me. The other thing I'm concerned about is the cost. I'm wondering if these guys are going to be somewhere around the $70, $75 range. I'd be almost surprised if they're just around 60, but they could be. But considering Games Workshop's pricing habits, and especially when you're talking a kind of an elite unit, and if they're similar in size to, let's say, Terminators, I can't see them being under 70 reasonably, which is, again, another one of those things that bothers me when it comes to Warhammer. It's just the pure, insane expense of plastic. I already know about molding, guys. I worked in plastics before. I can tell you that there's a difference between a limited run option and a mass market option when it comes to when you're producing a run. But the thing for me is, I think they're perfectly fine. I think that if you prefer these guys, you're going to have a lot of options. They're made out of plastic, so they're going to be fairly easy to kit bash. They'll be a lot more attainable, I would hope. But it is Games Workshop, so we have to basically couch that one. The one thing I thought was these would make awesome obliterator stand-ins with a little bit of work, especially if you want to run a Iron Warriors force and say that maybe your obliterators are actually Dark Mechanicum, these would be really cool options, and depending on size, if they were based appropriately and had a little bit done, I would totally be fine with somebody using these as obliterator stand-ins. But I'm going to be that guy. I like the original designs more. I don't hate these ones. I think they're perfectly fine. I think they're a little stiff for robots. I know is a funny thing to say. Overall, from a design perspective, they maintain most of what we'd expect. There's some elements that they've reused in them, especially when we're talking about the shoulder pads, which is fine. I think I preferred them with the little hoods on. It's just me. They don't have, from what I can tell, at least we haven't seen it so far, the crazy dual goggled guy from the original set. I liked that guy a lot. So, they are perfectly fine as a design. They're more in keeping with the approach they've been taking with newer in terms of 30K AdMech. You can tell by the way the legs are designed. They have that kind of the one guy, he has the kind of like grasshoppery leg thing that they've been liking to do. Now there's some differences between them, but there's some design aesthetics that they're somewhat keeping consistent within this 30K AdMech line, which I guess is fine. I kind of like the more down to earthy look of them, as much as I can say they're down to earth. Would I recommend picking them up? If you're super excited, I can't stop you from picking them up. But I would caution, wait to see what their price is officially. Don't jump in any box that's going to be crazy. Wait and see. Also, we have no idea how they're going to be portrayed in the rules. I'm also not keeping up with 3rd edition's rules very well. If you're a person that wants to get these and you don't like the resin, there you go. This is a good option for you. And I believe we will see a second box for these guys that will be the more melee centric. So if you're looking for those, just wait. Don't buy these and convert them into melee guys. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? You like them? You hate them? You think they should have done more? Let me know. And you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.